everyone. Welcome into the Her Hoop Stats podcast. It is Friday, September 19th. I am Jamie Steyer Johnson alongside Chelsea Leite. So you know that this one is going to be the peak of professionalism, very brief, to the point, all the things that we are individually known for and strive for as a collective. So, yeah, you know how it goes.
I'm also on no sleep. So that's going to add so much fun to this.
So much fun.
This salad we got going on.
Oh my gosh. We were just saying, okay, what are we talking about? Well, we're talking about the playoff games that we had last night. We're talking about the playoff game that we have tonight.
And this weekend.
This weekend, yeah. Coming up, we already have one of the matchups set. I will be in Minnesota on Sunday. And yay. But man, okay. After the playoffs started, it was pretty much, I mean, the games were good, but they weren't very close to start out, right?
Like game one was kind of rough. Some of the game twos were, not all of them.
And then the switch flipped, and 4 of our last 5 games have been decided by 3 or fewer points.
Yeah.
We love the switch flipped in a big way. Everyone kind of woke up and said, okay, yeah, we don't want our season to be over. No. And they showed it. Last night, the Fever beating Atlanta at home, and then Seattle taking Vegas down to the wire. Let's start with Indiana and Atlanta, because that was the earlier game in the evening. Sure. Oh my gosh. I will say I wasn't surprised. I've always felt like over the course of the season, like Atlanta just has so much depth. They have so many options. That's what I've said about them over and over and over again. They can play it in so many different ways.
Yeah.
The tough thing about relying on shooting from the perimeter a lot is you can go cold and you can be defended well, and that's tough. And I felt like they weren't getting quite as many second chance opportunities as they had been over the course of the season. Part of that being that Indiana was just boxing out well. They were rebounding well. They were forcing them to do the things that Indiana was okay with. They have worked so hard throughout all of their injuries. It's almost like they remind me a little bit of what we've seen from the Valkyries, where like you have a lot of players that have been maybe 6 players or been kind of overlooked or haven't even been on rosters for the entirety of the season. And they just go out there and they work so hard. And they rode that wave into their first semifinals to their first series win in 10 years into the semifinals. It's unbelievable with all the adversity they faced, but also just seeing how hard they've played throughout the course of the season. It's like, I guess if someone was going to do it like that, it was going to be them.
Yeah. And I think, like, you said it exactly. All of these players that, like, are fringe roster players normally, and as, like, the WNBA expands, of course, like, we'll hopefully not, like, phase out of that, like, people like Monique Billings has, like, for example. But, someone like Odyssey Sims is, like, such a good example of that. Someone who has, like, bounced around from team to team, is always that player that, like, doesn't make the roster, but then is, like, one of the first hardship signings of the year, because it's just that fringe player. And I mean, she's just like, she's so sweet. She works so hard. She is so fun to interview, by the way. And just like, you can tell that she really wants to be out there, that she's really trying to like show other teams, okay, hey, like this is what I bring. This is what I can contribute to a team. But it's not just her. There's so many others on that team too that are, you know, in that position because Indiana suffered so many injuries. And it's rough. And I think like it's such a bittersweet thing for Indiana to be going through this playoff run, because of course it's such like an amazing accomplishment that they are, you know, into the second round, that they made the playoffs. But at the same time, like they're doing all of this without Caitlin Clark. And it's like, I feel like a year ago, or, you know, whenever we found out that they were going to get that pick and that Caitlin Clark was going to be in that draft, it was like, oh, okay, like she's going to lead them to all these playoffs and all these things. And it's wild that like they're here and she's not the one doing it. Like it's I think it's such a testament because I think the narrative for the past year and a half has been Caitlin Clark leads this team. Everything is through Caitlin Clark, and of course, like when she's on the court, yeah, but they've had to adapt and, like, and not that they want to prove that they can still do it without her. I'm sure they would much rather have her on the court. But at the same time, like, being able to kind of prove these naysayers wrong and prove all the people. I mean, they even posted that really fun graphic of, like, the all the picks from ESPN of the series, and everybody was like, "Atlanta in 2, Atlanta in 2, Atlanta in
Mhm.
2," and they won in 3. So, it's like a fun little redemption arc story, a fun little, like, "Okay, we still got this story," and then for the individual players, it's just, like, cool to see that, at the beginning of the season, maybe you were cut from a roster, you weren't on a team, and now you're in the second round or the semifinals technically of the playoffs, and
Mhm.
you're gonna play Las Vegas in a best of 5 series, which is gonna be so wild. You get more home games, which should be interesting as well, given these two passionate fan bases and all of that. And yeah, it's just exciting to see
Yeah.
that.
It really is, and I mean, you talk about how it's not even just Odyssey Sims, you have Shea Petty, you have Aerial Powers who came in
Mhm.
on hardship contracts who are contributing in huge ways, and playing significant minutes, even if they're not the ones doing all of the scoring or recording all of the stats, like, they're in there working constantly, and, it's been really interesting just to see how they adapt to each new hurdle because there have been so many of them. And that's including like you come into the postseason and then you have Demiris Dantas out for concussion protocol. Like they simply can't catch a break, but it
Yeah.
also is allowing a light to shine on some of the people who have been there and doing the work for years now. Like you have Kelsey Mitchell, you have Aaliyah Boston, who have spent years in Indiana and have been, putting up numbers, been doing it big the whole time.
You wanna hear something crazy?
Yeah,
When Indiana won game 2, it was the first time Kelsey Mitchell had ever won a playoff game with the Indiana Fever.
yeah,
That when I heard that, I was like, "What?"
yeah.
'Cause she came in just, like, basically right after their, like, crazy run and, like
Mhm.
and during their, like, drought. And I
Yeah.
heard that and I was like, "Damn, that series win must have felt good."
And I mean, she's been so steady. She's been holding it down. Like she just works, man. And then you go
Yeah.
out there and you're putting up the best numbers of your career
Mhm,
in year 7 and alongside tremendous talent and just leading
mhm.
your team to these heights that they haven't reached in the time that you've been there. Like it's impressive leadership, it's impressive consistency. I'm very intrigued by this matchup with the Aces because you have an Aces team that is, certainly pretty well returned to form, I think, in a lot of ways, but then has come back down to earth a little bit, which I suppose will sorta shift gears before we talk about this matchup in the next round.
Yeah,
But talking about the Aces and the Storm,
yeah.
when you finally see that streak snapped as Seattle took down the Storm in Seattle took down the Aces in game 2, and then they come back and you're sitting there, you're like, "Okay, so what Vegas are we gonna see now?" Like, we saw just the confidence, the consistency, and you figure, yeah, like, they are very capable of maintaining that through a loss, like, that happens, right?
Yeah.
But it was like, okay, are they coming all the way back down to earth? Are they gonna come out just on a tear and ready to prove something? And I think they were ready to prove something, but I think Seattle was as well because a 1-point game in Vegas came down to the wire.
Was a good game too, like,
I
it was
mean,
start to finish, it was a good game, and, like, so much credit to Seattle, they fought so hard, and, like, I honestly think a lot of these late game situations have to do with just, like, luck and, you know, there's and Becky Hammond was saying this after the game, it's like, at this point in a series, you know everything you're gonna know about the other team, and I mean, I've said this on the pod with Coach, like, a bunch of times, like, especially when you play them a bunch of times in the season, then you come into the series, you're playing them again and again, like, you know the assignments, you know where the ball is going, you know it's just about, like, who can make that big shot in that big moment. It's who can kind of step up and defend that and or be at the right place in the right time. And so it's a lot of luck when it comes down to those moments. And Seattle fought so hard. Like, I wouldn't have been shocked if it went the other way. It literally was just, there was two things at the end of the game that really was the factor, which was Jackie Young making that incredible rebound and put back. And then on the other end, I think it was Erica Wheeler who made that shot. Gabby Williams made like the final shot, but the play was, I think, either Skylar or Erica making, the shot from the top of the key, which they had been making all night. Like, it made sense to write that up and to try that again, because that was something that had been working for them, and it just didn't go in. And so shout out to them. But I mean, Dom Malonga was incredible this series. The way that she was able to slow down Asia Wilson, which there's very few people, not just in this league, but I think in this world, that can slow down Asia Wilson on the basketball court. But like, she was just doing it. She wasn't fouling Asia very often. She was, just absolutely, like, not letting her get her comfortable shot. She was blocking, she was getting rebounds. She was just like, and for a 19-year-old rookie to do that in such a big moment against the best player in the world is so impressive, and just made me really excited for all of the Team USA matchups that Damalonga is going to just really dominate. And don't get me wrong, my affiliation internationally is with Canada, but I can read a little French sometimes if it means beating USA. So I'm ready for it. Like, vive la France, I guess. But yeah, I mean, just seeing Dom Malonga in those big moments, I think, was such a highlight for me. And I would have loved to see her continue on in the playoffs. And like I
Mhm.
said, I don't really have skin in the game either way. So I wasn't, sorry, Aces fans. Like, I wasn't preying on your downfall or anything, but I was like, whatever happens, happens.
You just want good games, you want entertaining games.
Yeah, I'm here to enjoy the moment while I wait for the tempo to get Juju Watkins and start our dynasty, manifestation. But it was such a good game. And I just, before we go in depth about Las Vegas and, their future in this playoffs and their next round and et cetera, like, that Seattle team, especially because we've seen this matchup again and again over the years, Vegas versus Seattle in the first round. And most of the time, it's ended in a sweep or a tough matchup for Seattle because the Aces have just been so dominant. And this season, that narrative was kind of broken, and they came out and just like really fought. And I think that's, of course, you don't want your season to end like that, but at the same time, I think it was a good way for the season to end for Seattle. And not like,
Mhm.
not like everything's perfect. Like, I think there's still a lot to go back and figure out for the Storm, but oh, what a showing in the first round, and what a showing from a young rookie who is their future. Like, when you
Mhm.
think about the Seattle Storm in the future, like, it's Don Malonga's team now. So, yeah, just incredible from them. But of course, I mean, obviously the Aces are going to come out and play their hardest as well. So, I
Yeah.
mean, I was just happy for another one possession, ending of a game. Like, that was just fun.
Yeah, before we kind of pivot into the aces, I'll give sort of my storm take, which there's a couple of them. Number 1, I wanted to point out that, I thought it was really funny. I, of course, am scrolling after the game, and my friend Whitney Medworth, who does digital for Home Field Apparel,
Yeah.
she is a big Indiana basketball fan, and
Okay.
she made a really good point, which was Erica Wheeler very nearly gave Indiana home court advantage for the second round.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
I was like, can
Yeah.
you imagine, like, us not just to have the Storm potentially win, but to have it be at Erica Wheeler's hand, and knowing just, like, the love that's there as, like,
Yeah, that would be
Erica
fun.
was low-key, like, kinda CeCe's vet last year and stuff, and so, she
Man,
definitely has a lot of love there for him, but
she
I
had
thought
an
that was
incredible season.
great season, great game, and I think that when you say, like, it's not a bad way for Seattle to finish out the season, I agree because the tough part for Seattle was the the sorta in between. part, right? Where we saw how good they can be, but
Mhm.
we also saw kind of what the floor was and that level of inconsistency and just the struggles that they had over the course of the season. And so to come back and to compete with the team that was by far the hottest in the league on one of the greatest tears in the history of the WNBA and
Yep.
to take a game from them to very nearly take the series as a visitor. I mean, it's hard because as a player, as a coach, as someone like involved in the program, there's nothing more conflicting than ending like that where you feel like we gave it our all
Yep.
but also to be that close and to still not
Yeah.
have it. So
It
I
sucks.
mean, I
It's
bet
so bittersweet.
I bet Skylar Diggins is at the gym right now.
I wouldn't be surprised. I would not they probably got on that plane after and then landed and then, like, maybe slept a little bit, and then she got up and she was like, "'Kay, on to
Like,
the next thing."
it's giving like when 2 years ago in the postseason when I was with Iowa State and we were out in California and played at Stanford and just barely lost it overtime. And we go to the plane. Of course, it's like the middle of the night, and I
Yeah,
hear our freshmen, Audie Crooks, Addie Brown, AJ, all them, and they're talking about, all right, when we get back, we're going straight to the gym and we're gonna get a workout in. It's just we're just
no.
gonna set the tone. And then of course, like our flight didn't take off. We got there too late, apparently, and they closed the runway, so we had to bus back to the hotel and leave the next day. But the point the point being the sentiment being that like that is really motivating. And so it
Yeah,
was really tough in that moment. And especially knowing that like the entire league knows that your roster is not going to be the same next year. Your team is not going to be the same next year.
yeah,
So that's got to be really tough for them. But I do think that for Erica Wheeler having that kind of breakout season at this point in her career, Skylar
incredible.
Diggins really reminding people who she is, Neko Gumake just continuing to do her thing. I do
Yeah,
think it's really tough for Seattle too to look at it and say that Nneka Gumake, who is a career over 50% shooter, goes 4 for 13 from the floor. Like that just
yeah,
it leaves a little bit of a bad taste in your mouth. And that's not because of her, it's because of who you're going against. But to be that close is tough. Damalonga is gonna be a problem. I'm ecstatic to see what they do with her. There's so many different ways you could use her, you can build around her. So definitely a very bright future there.
yeah. The
We
one thing that I think is important to note is that, we're telling these stories about Skylar's probably in the gym, Audie Crooks and all of them. I could never be a professional athlete. 'Cause if I played that game, I'd be like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go sleep for, like, 4 days."
Yeah,
Catch me in the off season. I would be like, "Oh, off season, Cancun. See ya."
that's how I am as, like, just a broadcaster. Like, it
Yeah,
takes it out of me so much, and I see them coming off and, like, the emotion, stuff like that, and, like, the way they just keep pushing through it, and we get to overtime, and I'm like, I need a bubbler,
yeah,
I need a Red Bull, like, somebody please, I need caffeine,
yep,
like, my adrenaline is wearing thin,
yep.
but that's why I didn't play college basketball. I was like, "I see
I'm
this,
not
like, I grew up
athletic.
in this." I'm 6'1", I had that little bit of cushion,
Yeah,
right? A 6'1" kid with a guard coach for a mom so I could shoot, but,
mm,
I could have been just, like, the token white kid just that could shoot kind of. But I'm like, no, I don't have that dog in me. Like I do not have that kind of
yeah.
today that effort to like live it and breathe it. But
That's why
uh
my skills are best honed sitting down in front of a laptop. So, I'm like, "Ooh, let's go, let's type." Oh, man.
me just talking about the athletes with
There you
other
go.
people. Yeah.
You sit
Like,
and yap.
yeah.
We love to yap.
Yeah. The
We love
jaw
to.
workout goes crazy.
Yeah, like, why isn't my jawline, like, completely, like, sculpted to the gods at this point from how much I yap? Oh, man.
Not
Um,
Chelsea falling into mewing.
I don't know what that is.
Good. I'm glad you don't. I wish I did it. It
Did you learn that from the team?
No, oh god, no. This was like middle school, high school brain rot from when I was substitute teaching.
Oh, okay. I was like,
It's
because 'cause we're the
like
same
it's like
age.
it's like jawline stuff. Like
Oh. I'm
I don't
so
know.
not
It's
hip with the kids.
no,
I
it's
don't
good.
have
I'm
any
glad.
kids in my life. Like, I sit in this basement, I talk about women's basketball, I
But you're
write
on
about
social
women's basketball.
media.
Yeah, but I don't follow. Why would I follow
Well,
kids?
no, no, I just feel like that kind of stuff gets, like, pervasive everywhere.
Oh, I
So
mean, maybe I just curate my social media that well.
that's
'Cause my
incredible.
let me give you a little of my TikTok For You page right now, right?
Okay.
It's, Jonas Brothers concert videos, because I went to that concert. Also, Joe Jonas ages like a fine wine. That's all I'm gonna say on this podcast. We're a family show. Um, okay, so it's that. It's Dancing with the Stars
Mhm.
updates because, of course. Also,
Yeah,
Robert Irwin is going to win Dancing with the Stars. Um,
love
it's
that.
like basketball stuff, obviously, like WNBA, like all of that, obviously, because that's what I'm there for, like posting and whatever. And then it's just like what else? Like girls complaining about their like boyfriends slash husbands. Oh, and then running. Running was the last one that I was like, there's something else big that I'm missing. Running.
Mhm.
So yeah. So those are, and it's funny that that I just said I could never be an athlete or
You
have
are
the
running
I'm
consistently, yeah.
I'm training for a half marathon. Lols.
Yeah.
Literally forgot about that. Um yeah, I don't think I'd consider myself a full athlete, but I mean, I think it takes a little bit of perseverance to run a half marathon, but anyway,
Takes a
that
lot
is
of, like,
my
mental conditioning.
it do be rough. But yeah, that is my TikTok For You page. I'm not learning about the youth slang
No,
whatsoever.
that's good, I'm glad.
Yeah,
I wish I could erase some of that from my memory, but
yeah.
okay, as we said, super professional, super on task. The
You know
Las
what?
Vegas
Yeah.
Aces, won. They are going on to the second round.
Indiana
Okay, first
versus
of
Las
all,
Vegas.
I said this at the time, and I never checked it until right now. On
Okay.
that last defensive possession for Vegas, I
Okay.
saw Kia Stokes walk out there. I'm like, has Kia played a second today? No, she had not. That was it. And so props.
Sure.
You finished that thing out. You are
Good
that's
for her.
ready.
Is a maniac, man. What?
I
That's
know.
so
And well,
funny.
and I loved like when they show the whole team celebrating after, like specifically people were like going to Kia, like,
That's
yes,
sick.
girl, like
Get
you
it.
were
And
ready.
yeah, good for her. Like she received a lot of flack this season for and I mean, I think that's just like the lack of depth that Vegas had, and the Melissa Smith pickup was so huge for them, I think is
Mhm.
such a big turning point in their season, and just making sure that both Melissa and Kia Stokes were, like, in a role that they could thrive in, and that's her role is, like, coming in for big defensive moments, so I'm glad that she was able to, like, have that moment and be able to step up because yeah, that was a big moment, and I okay, before we move on from Vegas or last night's game in particular, I thought it was so funny that it's, like, end of the game, and a lot of teams do this where they'll shut the lights off at the end of the game and, like, start to hype up, and it's the last possession, and it's literally, like, if Seattle puts a basket in, they win, like, it's a one-point game, and so the Erica Wheeler shot goes up, doesn't go in, Skylar somehow gets the rebound, passes it to Gabby Williams, and it's like a buzzer beater if she makes this, like, crazy, and the ball is literally halfway through the air and I mean it didn't count because the ball didn't leave her hands before the time ran out, but the ball's literally not even fully like crested in the air, lights out.
Yep.
Lights out. They were like, nope, we ain't even seeing where this goes because it
Yep.
doesn't count.
Yep.
And I just thought that was so it felt like if you're like in the gym and everybody forgets that you're there and you're like shooting, 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 and then
Yep.
they just like turn the lights off on you. Like, that's oh, man, it was so funny. I was like, "Oh, okay,
Yeah.
game's over."
My husband was like dying. Like he had the same thing. He thought that was so funny.
Oh, it
Like
was so funny.
he could not. It was like, nope, we are hitting these lights at the
That
end
shot
of
did not
the
count.
water. Yes. And okay, also I want to say before we again get into like second round matchup type stuff,
Yeah,
we talk about Alyssa Smith, we talk about that kind of pickup, we talk about having Kia able to jump in for one possession.
yeah.
Cheyenne Parker Tyus
Oh,
is back
queen,
and another
queen,
another big on the inside, able to take
queen.
even just a little bit of that pressure off Asia because okay, let's talk about the fact that, like, Asia had a crazy game last night.
Yeah,
Let's talk about
crazy.
how good of a job Dom did on Asia, and she had 38 points. Like, and that's not even to take away from it. Like, Dom did do a good job
Yeah,
defending
Dom
her,
Dom did great.
and she went 14 to 26 from the floor.
Yeah,
Like,
dog. What?
okay.
Sure,
So
Asia.
you have
Sure.
that, and then you have Cheyenne, who played nearly 10 minutes, who has just
Queen.
has just taken some of that pressure off, gives them another big presence. And that's been
Yeah.
like a critique of Vegas for a couple years now. Is there's a lot of people that have said, well, they need a true center. That like there's a lot of people that want Asia to be playing more of the four.
Yeah.
I'm not in that contingent. I think that having another true center would allow her more flexibility, but I think it's always been that they've needed any other kind of big, another interior presence,
You just
because
need size.
five. She can play the four. She can do either one, and you
Yeah.
can put her into those positions. She just can't be the only big. And so that's why Nalissa was such a big pickup, why she made such a big difference. But now, if you have the ability to play Nalissa and Asia together, you also have the ability to play Cheyenne Parker Tyus and Asia together. Those are really different looks. And so you can put Asia into whatever different situation you want. You also can give her even 2.5 minutes of rest like she got last
Yeah.
night, and you can have Nalissa in there, you can have Cheyenne Parker Tyus. There are games where you can have Kia Stokes in there as well. She isn't getting a whole lot of run now that they have a little bit of that depth back with Cheyenne playing, but
But
she can
you need
still
her for a
go
big
there.
defense. You need her for a big defensive possession,
Right,
and you just pull her. Like that's the goal when you're
right.
talking about like a basketball team, to have the amount of depth to be able to pick and choose who you employ um based on their skill set, and who you put in certain moments based on what they do best. That's the goal. And I
Mhm,
mean, again, I think this is a great way to transition into talking about the Indiana Vegas series, because I
mhm.
think that's going to be such a huge part of this matchup, is the fact that Vegas now does have that depth in the front court, and I don't think Indiana has the same thing. But I mean, not to like beat a dead horse over here with this narrative, but Cheyenne Parker Tyus had a baby on July 1st. Canada Day baby. Fun. Um, but also, what? Like, I'm PMSing right now and I couldn't play a basketball game. Like, what?
On July 1st, I was probably working on the flooring in my house, and I haven't recovered enough from that to play basketball, I think.
Like, the amount, like, if I was out drinking for Canada Day on July 1st, I don't think I would be recovered enough now to be able to play. Like, what? And, like, I feel like a lot of people, maybe I'm not gonna put all of the men in one box, but maybe people who aren't familiar with what it takes to give birth, and I mean, I've never given birth, but I have heard stories from people, and I know, what
At
happens.
least conceptually familiar.
Conceptually familiar, I experience, I guess what
You
maybe
microdose it.
that's such a good word for it. I microdose labor every
Giving birth.
month, um, microdose, but to think about what, like, the drama your body goes through, and then to care for the newborn, and they have an older kid too. Not to, like, not give the dad credit, I'm sure he's doing a lot. Shout out to, her man, I don't know his name. We're not highlighting men on this podcast. Um, no, anyway, but like, to go through that and to be postpartum, and to then go and, like, play basketball at a professional level, and De'Arca Hamby did it, and, like, and everybody
She,
yeah,
like
like, everybody would be completely fine if Cheyenne Parker Tyus said, "Imma take the rest of the season off. See y'all next year." Like, that would've been we would've been like, "Cool. You do you, boo.
that's
Enjoy the
kinda what
baby."
you would, like, anticipate.
Yeah. And I think that's, but, like, it's just, I need people who maybe aren't like, they're like, "Oh, yeah, she had a baby." Like, no. Like, and I understand her body's in, like, peak fitness, but still, like, I had to watch that Miracle of Life birth video in Catholic high school. Like, I saw it. I wouldn't be playing basketball this soon. It's wild. So, anyway, the fact that she can come and make that much impact on this team, and, like, it's just that, and has, like, a little tiny baby. who based on I haven't seen any pictures since like I don't think I follow her on Instagram, but like I did see the post when she gave birth, just a little tiny baby, and she's just going to play. Like it just
Yeah.
women,
I
women,
preach.
women.
No, I love it. I mean, first of all, I've really loved Cheyenne Parker Tyus's game for a while. Like I love a post, you know?
I'm
I
crying at BMAC's little scroll right now.
I
If you're watching on YouTube, BMAC, our producer, puts little like scrolls at the bottom. And well, he uses them 1 to tell you what's happening, 2 to roast me, and 3 to make little jokes. So
That's
right
good.
now this is a her health stats podcast.
Love that.
Um, because yeah, Sham Parkertius is a beast. Anyone who gives
Yeah.
birth is a beast because I
True,
could
just like
never.
point blank period.
Point
Like,
blank period. I've already
oh,
I'm like, "That's on the cards for me."
which I
You do you.
also loved how, like, on the broadcast, Carolyn Peck was talking about how Cheyenne Parker Tyus has talked about, how much she, like, looks up to Skylar Diggins and how she's
Mm,
been able to bounce back from giving birth and stuff and all
women.
that she went through with, you know, her pregnancy journey and being out and coming
Yeah.
back. Like, I just love that aspect of the WNBA and, like, the support that you see. And now we're seeing,
He did this the
uh
other day too when I was literally ill, so
now we have, any complaints about this or comments on this podcast to reach out to Chelsea Late.
you
But
know what?
all right,
Sure,
looking at the clock, I suppose we better
I
keep moving
guess.
along.
Maybe the people wanna hear us yap all day,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
you have actual stuff to do. So,
yeah.
let's
I have
continue
to be an
on.
adult.
Ugh, boring. Um,
Disgusting. I have so much work to do today. I have to lesson plan.
I don't have to do that, I have to write. But
Gotta do it.
anyways,
Okay, so
um,
we have one of our matchups set for the
yeah,
semis. The other one is going to be set tonight. So tonight we have Phoenix and New York playing for the opportunity to see the Minnesota Lynx at CB.
for the pleasure.
At CB on Sunday.
Yeah,
So
we're a mess. We're a mess.
we okay. We have seen kind of the two ends of the spectrum of how this game can go. These have not been particularly close games between New York and Phoenix in the postseason. Tonight, heading back to Phoenix.
Yeah, it's been very all over and I mean,
Stewy's a little bit hobbled.
yeah, but also, like, if we're following the pattern of this first round, this is gonna be like a one possession game.
It'd be cool to actually see a close game between these two. I mean, the
Yeah,
first round game wasn't a total blowout, but the second
no.
round game certainly was. Like Phoenix walked into New York and
God.
said, we're bringing this back home."
And then,
Like,
like, all of the stuff about the atmosphere and stuff not being hype, which, like, is so shocking given what that atmosphere is usually like, and a lot of people were
mhm,
saying it was because, like, the prices were so bad to get in there, and,
mhm. Your
it's just
typical
so,
crowd was priced
like,
out
like,
in most
out. They were
ways.
down the street at the bar
Yeah, yeah.
where
Weird
Ellie
how
the
that works.
elephant was the other day. Ellie the elephant probably wanted to go there instead. She was like, "These
Yeah.
people aren't giving
Hang
me
out with
the
my
energy."
friends. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But
Oh,
okay,
man.
there was 5 players in double digits for Phoenix in New
Yeah.
York. New York had just a single player in double digits, Emma Miesman. You have Brianna Stewart, who clearly was affected by the sprained MCL,
MCL, yeah.
and I don't know. We've been waiting for New York to return to peak form. I don't think we're going to see them at peak form at least this postseason, to the degree that we've seen earlier in the season now that Stewie's battling an injury, which
Yeah.
bold to continue playing on a sprained MCL. Like, not again.
The
Obviously,
playoff move.
they're kind of built different, but like that's not. I would not do
Yeah.
that. I
It's the difference between playoffs and regular season. If this is the regular season, she wouldn't be playing, but it's the playoffs and
But also
yeah,
it's deep in the season. So like you exacerbate that, you're losing.
great word.
Thank you. I'm I'm an academic now. But I don't know. I mean, I guess like I commend the competitive fire, but also ooh, very
Yeah,
risky. And especially when the rest of the team simply did not step up to the plate in the second round to carry enough of that weight. So I'm very curious. I don't think that there's a scenario in which the Liberty run away with it tonight. I'm wrong often.
yeah.
But I
I
clip that.
okay.
I will never admit that again. But I I think that either it's a close game and
Yeah,
maybe like you said, things when it's a toss up, like anything can happen. So maybe New York comes out with a close win. But if it's not a close game, I would be very surprised if it isn't going the Mercury's way, especially at
yeah.
home, especially when you're riding that momentum of a really, really big second round
Win
win
or go home.
and you just have this tremendous amount of depth. You have so many different people that are contributing in really really big ways. I wouldn't want to be going up against the Phoenix Mercury right now, and I think that's true for both New York and for potentially a second round matchup with Minnesota. I
Minnesota.
think that they're figuring stuff out. Like they're getting
Yeah.
their group together, they're healthy, and so I'm very excited for what we might see on Sunday.
I think if New York is going to win this game tonight, they need to play through Jonquel Jones, and I
Yes.
this is a Tyler DeLuca-ism, because I remember a year ago we were talking about this exact same thing.
Yep.
We need to play through Jonquel Jones, because at the beginning of the last game, she was on fire. She was making threes, she was getting into the post, like, play through Jonquel Jones. That's number 1. Number 2 is make your GD free throws. Like, what was
Oh,
that? They shot, like, 60% from the free throw line against Phoenix. That is
16 of 25.
and don't get me wrong, I'm not very often going to say you're an athlete, you should be doing better, because these athletes are impeccable and they do a lot of great stuff. But like it's like if I as a writer like didn't put a period at the end of a sentence. Make a free throw. Like, man, like come on. Come on.
Well, and you can't shoot 64% from the free throw line and 23% from the three-point line
Like you got to pick
on
one or the
26
other. It's a
attempts.
struggle. But yeah, that was rough. I was like, oof. I hope that they all had to shoot like at like 100 free throws in practice the other day.
Couple hundred probably.
Couple hundred. Wow. I don't know anything about basketball practice. Last time I was in basketball practice, I was like 14. So
I think a lot of people don't shoot as many like, a lot of teams don't do as shoot as many free throws as they should because
yeah,
it's like a compulsive thing at Iowa State, and I see other practices, and I'm like, "You're not shooting free throws between literally every drill? That's
yeah.
crazy."
And I mean, I've been to, like, a ton of practices now, like, that I haven't participated in. I remember when I went to Team Canada camp, and it was, like, Nell Fortner's first camp, and they all had to shoot every single day before they left. They had to make, not just shoot, make 100 three-point shots. And I was like,
Mhm,
"Bruh." And some of them were, like we were all kinda waiting for practice to end, and some of them were there trying to make their last ones, and I was like,
mhm,
"That's
mhm.
wild." And all of them, didn't matter what position you were, you had to make
Yep.
your three-point shots. I was like, "Whoo,
Repetition,
shut up, Mel
repetition.
Fortner." Love that woman.
All right, real quick before we are done, Vegas and Indiana on Sunday. Man,
Woo.
the interior battle, I'm
The
very
internet,
excited. I just that I'm not excited for.
put your phones on do not disturb, tweet
Real.
at your own risk.
Like, well, because I'm gonna
Um,
be watching on my phone because I'll be traveling, so I won't be able to
dude,
also be on
you're
social
going to
media.
you're going to Minnesota.
Going to Minnesota after Bridget Carleton changed the game.
She did, she did. Ah,
My dog. I was gonna wear her jersey, but then I'm like, I need to keep that clean for Sunday.
yeah, literally. Oh, Bridget. How did you feel about a few weeks ago? I don't know if you read it or not, but I wrote something that said that the Tempo should core Bridget Carlton.
I didn't see that because I have not seen anything because I've not been on
Yeah,
social
you
media. I'm
did.
about to go read it today.
Yeah,
I love that. No, because you text me. Is that what you were asking me about?
well, that was a few months ago. I texted you a
Yeah,
while ago,
yeah,
and I was like, "Could they do it?" And you were like, "Kinda, yeah."
yeah.
And so I percolated it on it for a little while, and then I was obviously like, I've been watching the playoffs and thinking about what the Tempo could do with their core designation, and who would be like, I was thinking about like reasonable targets, like
Yeah.
not just like because everybody's a free agent, right? Like they could try and core like friggin' I don't know, like Asia Wilson or something dumb like that,
Well, it'd
right?
be
Like,
anyone who's not protected. So like,
yeah, like anyone who's not protected and is an unrestricted free agent. So that's like there's a lot of people this season.
mhm,
So I was thinking about possibilities, but like realistic possibilities of who would want to come to this, new team and come to, and I was like, Richard Carlton. Richard Carlton, because I was trying to balance, like, who would be, like, a great person to put in that designation, who would be good for the team, but also, like, who is reasonable to, like, think to put that
build
designation.
around and yeah.
So I said for Toronto, I said Bridget Carlton, and for Portland, I said Dana Evans. I was like, "Oh, intriguing. I could see it."
Yeah.
There's a lot of options, so I was, like, kind of just like, "Hmm, who do I pick?" But I could see it.
Just throwing darts, why not? Like,
Yeah,
no, I don't sure.
yeah,
Like,
sure.
she's definitely been a game changer here late for the Aces. Like,
Yeah,
I mean, I think that first of all, did not get like enough credit for what she's done previously in her career,
yeah,
Dana Evans, and like then when she was going to Vegas, I was like, y'all really let Vegas get Dana Evans to add to that depth, and
yep,
it took time, just like it did with everyone, to figure out what the role was, how exactly this was all going to fit together.
yeah,
But when it did. Like, she's been again, like, every single person on that roster is the reason why they're playing at the level that they
exactly.
are now. Like,
But
you
yeah,
you can't take any one individual out of the Aces rotation and
yep,
still have what they're doing.
yeah,
So, I'm very interested to see the 5-game series because I
yep.
think, like, what again, I basically host like a podcast in my house all hours of the day because all my husband and I talk about is women's basketball.
I need the live
And
stream. Gotta do the stud buds. Gotta do the stud
it
buds.
like for real, we'll have last year we had a conversation like pre after a women's basketball game, after one of Iowa State's games, and all of a sudden I like look and one of our family friends is just like looking at us. She's like, "You guys should just have a show. Like, this is incredible." And I'm like, "God bless." Like,
Next time I'm sick, we're just pulling in your husband. Bye, B-Mac.
oh, oh my god, it'd work. I've had him on a podcast before, but um, anyway, so I what he said was, "Man, it feels like a 3-game series is kind of your best opportunity to take down the Aces because
Yep.
otherwise, over the course of 5 or potentially in the
7.
final 7 games, like just their ability to withstand, their ability to adjust, the inevitability of Asia Wilson, like
It's
that's tough
yeah.
to think that you're gonna overcome that, and especially for, again, an Indiana team that keeps overperforming what it seems like they should be capable of. They have such great players, but just the struggles they've had, the injuries, the issues with depth that they have as a result of that, it just feels like, can you maintain that for 3 wins in 5 games? And I have a hard time seeing it happen. I also am not going to sit here and say it can't because clearly there's nothing that's impossible for them with the effort they've been playing with the scheming they've done. But
Mhm.
it especially just, I mean, the way the Aces have played down the stretch and then getting through those 2 close games against Seattle. I feel like if that doesn't light a spark under you to return back to that like 17-game win streak form,
Yeah.
what
But
will?
do you know who I think probably has the best chance of beating the Aces in a series? Minnesota. And we're kind of on a collision course right now
I
to
don't even want to
a
get there because I don't
I
want to
know,
jinx anything.
I know. Your superstition.
I am.
But yeah, I think about that, I'm like, that's exciting."
That would be a tremendous 7-game series. Like, I would be thrilled if that's what we get, but I also
Doable.
think that these semifinal series are gonna be awesome. I'm really
Yeah.
excited about having 5-game series. It's cool, I think, to have it kinda ramp up from 3 to 5 to 7.
Yeah. You get a
That
little extra. They're like, "Here, have
Yeah,
a little more."
and I mean, definitely the 1-1-1 format of both teams getting a home game added a lot to the
Yeah,
situation. Like, it's tough because of the travel portion
yeah,
of it. I would prefer to be able to space things out a little bit more, but the actual like intensity and excitement and
yeah,
all of that, especially like in uh Valhalla, like, to have the
Yeah.
Valhalla travels, like, you go and you have to move your playoff game, your first ever playoff game to a different arena due to scheduling conflicts, and so you just, like, casually set your franchise attendance record because the place you move to has a higher capacity than your home arena, like,
Yep.
that's crazy, and side note, like, this was a couple nights ago, but that was absurd. Like the effort from the Valkyries,
Wild.
that I mean, you want to talk about ending on a high note and having nothing to hang your head about. That is the
That team.
definition. Like
Yep.
that was
They were great.
unbelievable. But I Minnesota I think definitely has a big benefit in getting that extra game of rest
Mhm.
versus the entire rest of the league or the entire rest of the playoff teams
Yeah,
remaining.
because they would have played tonight,
Yeah.
and then they would have had to like, this starts on Sunday.
Yeah.
Starts on Sunday, so, like, the fact that they, 1, get to rest the extra few days, stay in Minnesota, they have
Mhm.
home court advantage, so they don't have to travel anymore. Because like, if it was the other way around, they'd be waiting to figure out where they're going
Yeah.
tomorrow, but they're not. And I do someone did mention, I forget who I was talking to this, about this with, but they said, as the league expands and, like, maybe we go back to conferences, this 1-1-1 format would probably work a little bit better if you were, like,
Right.
keeping your travel
Better
within the East
proximity,
Coast,
yeah.
yeah, or the West Coast. And I mean, I don't know if we'd go back to what to conferences, but yeah, that's something to think about. But I mean, I think I was a little bit judgmental with the 1-1 format, and I think it served its purpose. There were pros and cons for sure. But I got it, and I understood why it was important, and I think maybe the flaw is the fact that they're scheduling them so close together and there's not the time between traveling. I mean, chartered flights again helps quite a lot. Um, but
But
yeah,
that's just the flaw with, like, the schedule as a
yeah,
whole.
that and I mean we've talked about this all year. Like the scheduling this season in the WNBA hasn't been ideal, and I
Mhm.
think that is contributing to a lot of the injuries we're seeing. I think that's contributing to a lot of things, but it's a whole different topic for a
Yeah,
whole different
a
time.
whole different day. Alright, folks, we have gotten into, uh, everything
Everything.
and anything.
A little bit more.
Thank you. Thank you all for, tuning in, for making it to this point. If you have, props, I guess
What are
congratulations.
our 93rd or 94th episode of this format of the I remember when, I was supposed to be on Tuesday, it was the 90th, but I was sick and BMAC had to step in for me, and so he mentioned it was the 90th. So I guess this would be the 94th? I'm so bad at math, this is why I'm a writer.
3rd,
3rd,
93rd.
93rd or 94th,
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
Do your math.
All right. This has been the Her Hoop Stats podcast. I'm Jamie Steyer Johnson. You can find me online at jstyes, JSTEYZ. She is Chelsea Late. You can find her on all your social media platforms at Chelsea Late. Follow
Same
her hoop
spelling as
stats.
Carla.
Same spelling as Carla, dear
And
cousin, Carla.
it's
You
gonna
can
start
follow.
some we're not
I
cousins, but
mean, down the road somewhere, maybe.
we could be. I wanna do a 23andMe. Carla, if
Do
you're
it.
down, let me know.
All right. Follow Her Hoop Stats at Her Hoop Stats wherever you get your social media, your information on whatever audio platform you're listening on YouTube, wherever. Make sure you're subscribed to our newsletter. We will have a whole bunch of content coming out for the rest of the playoffs, and then college season coming soon.
Oh my god,
I'm so excited. All right. We will be back next week on the Her Hoop Stats podcast. Thanks, y'all. Have a good weekend.